Welcome to the Dispatch. You are listening to a primer on Jammu and Kashmir. Episode 43, Comments on the Instrument of Accession and its Legal Framework.
The Instrument of Accession signed by Maharaja Hari Singh on 26 October 1947 was a brief but consequential legal document. Drafted under the provisions laid down by the British Parliament in the Indian Independence Act of 1947 and the earlier Government of India Act of 1935, it provided the constitutional bridge through which princely states joined either India or Pakistan. For Jammu and Kashmir, the decision came at a moment of grave emergency, when the tribal invasion threatened the valley and the state's administration was struggling to maintain order. Under the constitutional framework, a princely ruler had the authority to decide accession on behalf of his state. The instrument offered accession only in three subjects: defense, external affairs, and communications. These limited terms were identical for every princely state and aimed to retain internal autonomy while integrating vital functions with the Dominion government. The document required the signature of the ruler and acceptance by the Governor General of the chosen Dominion. In Jammu and Kashmir's case, the process was shaped by the military crisis unfolding on the ground. With the tribal Lashkars advancing towards Srinagar and the state forces unable to hold their positions, the Maharaja sought immediate military aid from India. The Government of India responded that assistance could be provided only after the state acceded, following the standard constitutional procedure. A senior representative from Delhi reached Jammu, where the Maharaja signed the instrument. The Governor General, Lord Mountbatten, formally accepted it on the 27th of October. The terms were clear. Jammu and Kashmir acceded to India in matters of defense, external affairs, and communications. The state retained control over internal governance. Mountbatten's acceptance letter added that once peace returned, the question of confirming the state's political future through the will of its people should be addressed. This communication echoed the wider uncertainty affecting multiple regions of the subcontinent in the immediate aftermath of partition, rather than defining a binding legal requirement within the instrument itself. Accession opened the way for the rapid arrival of Indian troops. On the morning of 27 October 1947, transport aircraft carrying soldiers of the Sikh regiment landed in Srinagar, securing the airfield and stabilizing the valley. National Conference volunteers assisted in maintaining order in the city, while the state administration worked to restore communications and support military logistics. In the days that followed, Indian forces pushed toward Baramulla and Uri, clearing the road that had been cut by the raiders. The immediate aftermath of accession was dominated by two priorities. The first was military, to defend the valley, reopen supply lines, and prevent further incursions. The second was administrative, to re-establish civil authority, manage refugees arriving from border areas, and coordinate the state's institutions with the new military command. The release of Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah soon after accession reflected the Government of India's recognition of the National Conference's influence in the valley and the practical need to stabilize political conditions during wartime. Over the next few weeks, fighting expanded along multiple fronts, extending into Jammu and the northern districts. What had begun as a tribal incursion developed into the first Indo-Pakistan conflict, drawing global attention to the region. Yet the accession itself, limited, lawful, and in line with the constitutional options available to all princely states, remained the basis on which India deployed its forces and assumed responsibility for the defense of the state. Seen from the vantage point of 2025, The Instrument of Accession stands as the foundational legal act that determined Jammu and Kashmir's place within the Indian Union. Signed under the most difficult circumstances, it provided the constitutional framework for responding to an external attack and laid the groundwork for the complex political and military developments that followed.
Thanks for watching this episode of Primer on Jammu and Kashmir. Here is a quick note from the editors of the Dispatch. While dealing with historical events, we are conscious of the fact that history has no single view. In places like Jammu and Kashmir, this can be more complicated. While explaining the events of history through this primer, we are taking the best possible care to be objective and to offer context wherever views differ starkly. We welcome you to write to us and enrich the knowledge base on Jammu and Kashmir.